Schedule a free design consultation, and the more you buy, the more you'll save on blinds, shades, shutters, and more from Budget Blinds. Visit budgetblinds.com today.
This is Newcap News with Bart Pediasic.
Good evening. After years of facing the issue of the lack of beds at continuing care facilities in Lloydminster, there is finally some relief. The Alberta government announced $4.4 million to build 44 new beds with higher level care at Pioneer Lodge, an assisted seniors home. As well, more than $1 million for increased fire safety. Katie Hudson reports.
It feels wonderful.
Elizabeth Williams, a resident at Pioneer Lodge, understands how life-changing the new beds are for seniors who can't stay in town or are turned away when they require more care.
They had to move out of town and then they couldn't see their family, and they were really upset about it. I know one man in here, he was crying one day when he had to move because he knew he wasn't going to be able to see his sister.
The Pioneer Lodge houses over 130 residents and includes housekeeping, meals, and laundry. Last December, they applied for funding to add level 3 home care to the lodge.
People can no longer remain in their homes and need to go into a supportive living facility. That has been identified as being the #1 need within our community. We have a need for 55 continuing care spaces in the community. Well, this will look after 80% of that need.
Level 3 care in the new phase means access to medical staff as required, something the lodge doesn't currently provide. The proposed 2-story facility on the north side of the building is also designed to be flexible, with the potential to include even more full-time care.
To finally have this announcement, to know that within 2 years we should be able to be keeping our residents in their area, close in their comfort zone with their families, it's a relief.
And relief is just one of the positive emotions for Williams and for many seniors in the community, who can now stay close to their family and friends.
It'll be nice that we can look after them right here where they need to be looked after. And the seniors built this country, so we got to look after them.
Construction will begin later this year and is expected to be done late next year. Katie Hudson, Newcap News.
Approximately $3,000 worth of methamphetamine has been taken off the streets after Bonnyville RCMP executed a search warrant at a home in Glendon early this morning. Including drugs, RCMP also found Canadian currency, drug paraphernalia, and a shotgun. A 51-year-old resident of Bonnyville was arrested without incident and remains in custody, where he faces charges including possession of methamphetamine for the purpose of trafficking, possession of proceeds of crime, and unauthorized possession of a firearm. Now, as we reported last week, the Loon Lake Fire Department did not respond to a house fire that killed 2 toddlers on the Makwesagagan First Nation. Village administration says they ignored the call because the reserve had fallen behind on their fire bills. Volunteer Fire Chief and Loon Lake Mayor Larry Heon says the First Nation owed more than $3,000 to the village, but adds responding to the call wouldn't have changed the outcome.
The team wouldn't have made a difference. The RCMP are on the scene probably 20 to 25 minutes ahead of the fire department. When the RCMP pulled into the scene, the father was carrying the kids out of the house.
Since 2013, the First Nation has been paying for each individual call after opting out of an annual $5,000 retainer. A statement from the Aboriginal Affairs Office says Makwesagagan received nearly $40,000 of federal funding for fire services in 2014.
I think the biggest problem is we got a politician that stands up in the House like she did yesterday and say, give them more money. That's fine, give them all the money in the world. But if it doesn't go to the right places, what good is it? If it's mismanaged at the chief's level or a band council or wherever, and they don't put it into fire suppression, what good is keep feeding the money to them?
Fire services have temporarily been resumed. Once the mourning period ends, the two parties will renegotiate an agreement. Statistically, it's the coldest night of the year, and Saturday didn't disappoint, with temperatures dipping down to -32 with a wind chill in the evening. But rather than keeping warm indoors, a group bundled up and went to Bud Miller Park to raise awareness for those who don't have the option to stay inside. Jeremy Thompson explains.
The shelter at Bud Miller All Seasons Park is full of walkers gearing up to head outside. Toques, gloves, boots, and coats, all equally important for the frigid 2, 5, or 10-kilometer trek.
It's cold out there. This morning it was -34 with the wind chill, and that's something that people actually face on a day-to-day basis. And getting to work on an event like this, it's eye-opening.
It's Coraline Nidokis' first year organizing the event in the border city.
So give her a...
But the walk isn't just local.
While it's a Canada-wide thing, it is very specific to the individual town. So in Lloyd, it's the men's shelter here who does it.
The fundraising goal was $25,000, but pledge money from the nearly 80 participants topped $33,000. All of it will go towards a new long-term housing facility for the men's shelter.
We get to see a first-hand experience of how the men's shelter works, and we understand that there are times when they unfortunately have to turn people away.
It's something that we think is important. There's people out there that are suffering and hurting, and we want to just help out as best we can.
I believe that if we're seeing other people that could use the extra support and the extra help, it's up to us that are maybe in a better position to step forward and help.
Overall, Canadians across the country raised nearly $3 million. Here in Lloyd, Nidokis says her first event was a huge success as well.
There's definitely some things that I've noted for next year, but considering quite a few of us are new to this whole thing, I think we did pretty good.
Jeremy Thompson, Newcap News.